Hi guys, I am just going to wait a minute for people to show up, but I am Sharon Vinderine. I am founder and CEO of Parent Tested, Parent Approved. If you tuned in last week, you saw that I actually learned to cook, and hopefully you guys learned something as well. Since we had hundreds of comments, we will be coming back to you with some more Foodie Tuesdays. We're just planning out the menu items, so we'll be talking to you guys a little bit about some ideas that you'd love to have, you'd love our chefs to teach you. Today, we're going to be talking about social media and the dangers of social media and Instagram and some of the things, some of the lingo that your kids might be using that you are unfamiliar with. Hey Beth, hey Kim, so glad you guys could join us today. So do you guys have tweens or teens? We're very much talking about how do we keep our kids safe online. So I have a 12-year-old, almost 13, and a 14-year-old, and it is a constant battle. Ooh, Baltimore. I'm really excited you love the topic. Happy Tuesday. It is a constant battle in our home, trying to control and balance use of the internet, number one, use of social media, trying to get our kids to do something other than their devices. Oh, Beth, I'm sure you can relate with two teens. Kim, you have a 4-year-old, many nieces and nephews. Okay, oh my gosh, that are over 12, many of them. Okay, so maybe you can pass this information on to your sisters or brothers. Beth, older kids for sure, harder to manage. So in my home, what that looks like right now is Fortnite for my 12-year-old. That is the only thing he talks about. He eats, sleeps, and breathes Fortnite. The other thing is Instagram. For my daughter, Instagram is her go-to. Snapchat. She has a Visco because everybody needs to know about every beautiful meal she's had and, you know, all of those important things. So I sat with my 12-year-old last night and kind of did a little bit of an interview. I asked him about some of the terms that he uses that I just don't understand. And after he gave me a, oh, you're so not cool, he actually took the time in between laughing at me to explain to me some of those things. So, do you guys know what this means, other than running naked in the streets, when it comes to social media? Any guesses? Because this is something really, really, really important. Not really at all. Anyone? Any guesses? No guesses. Tony? Anyone? Okay. Nope. Backstreak? Nope. Don't know what a backstreak is. No guesses. Okay, I'm going to tell you what this is because this is super important. Again, not really. Snapchat. So, if your child is on Snapchat, what they will do is they will snap a random photo. And the person they snap it to has to snap a photo back to them within that same 24-hour period. Now, a streak happens when you are super cool and you have sent a picture 3 days in a row. So, let me explain to you the panic that happens if you break a streak. So one of my son's friends is away for a week, and heavens forbid she misses out on her streak. So my son is in charge of managing her account so that she can go back and forth and not lose out on a streak. And incredibly important, she's at a 100-day streak right now. I mean, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-blowing, so incredibly important. You're only 30 and you've never heard of this streak? Oh my goodness. Really? Come on, Kim, like get with it, because apparently this is so important. And when I asked my kid, why is this so important? He said, because it's important, because it's really cool to be able to have a super long streak. I know, right, Kim? 100 days. So, that's streak. We're gonna go with that topic. All right, let's give you some other lingo. So every time my kids post something, hey Linda, thanks for joining us. They send a text message to each of their friends that say LNC. LNC means like and comment. Because apparently, again, this is based on my 12-year-old, if he doesn't have a minimum of 260 likes on his picture in less than 24 hours, gonzo. He is deleting that picture. Why? because apparently it means there's not enough people who valued the content that he is putting up there. Kim, I think this is what my niece Larissa was telling me about. It's kind of a story feature, but in pictures. That's exactly what it is. It's craziness. All of this is craziness. So I said to my son, I know my letters are backwards, I'm sorry. We tried it both ways. We printed them backwards, we printed them forwards. We're getting some updated letters, and we'll come back with the next words in the right direction. When I tried to bring my son onto this interview, and he refused because he said, I can't honestly tell you why this is so important to me, but this is so important to them. And I'm going to tell you as a parent why this, yes, okay, Tony, you totally jumped ahead because I was just about to say that. Depression, anxiety, suicide rates that have increased drastically. And this is all because of social media, the internet. The fact that kids are just obsessed with social media and what people that they've never even met think of them. So think about it as an adult. We are constantly walking around with our devices. We get a ding, we get a dong, and we are answering those devices. We are running to find out what that really important thing is, and it's usually not all that important. But with kids, they are posting something, they are worrying about how they are tagging their friends, they're worrying about where they're tagging their friends. It's actually crazy. When they post a picture, they will tag their friends, and their favorite friends, they will tag at the top. And if you're tagged at the bottom of that picture, forget about it. It's like World War III. Right, Tiffany? It's totally crazy how young this actually starts. So where you get tagged is really important. Kids get incredibly depressed over this. My daughter will post a picture, and in 5 minutes she will have 500 to 700 likes. I promise you, I don't get that in days, weeks, months, whatever it is. My son, he'll post something, and maybe it'll take him a day to get 250 likes. And he is so upset over it. So as parents, we need to figure out how we can instill confidence in our kids and how we can take these phones away from them or their social accounts away from them so that they are limited in terms of the time they are using them. So here's number one recommendation. You're right, Beth. Way too much pressure for kids. And Kim, you're right. I'm sure you see kids getting depressed over this all the time, which is why we're hearing this on the news. Anxiety, depression, again, suicide are on the rise. And it is all because we all seem to care so much about what we see on social media. Social media is fake news. And our kids don't understand this. And they are striving to accomplish what these YouTubers are accomplishing and wear what these Instagrammers are wearing, and they don't understand that these kids are getting paid to do this. They don't necessarily really love something like that, right? So I don't have your first name, but Leanne White, 700 likes. Can you imagine? My kids are much more popular than me. It really is an obsession. It's really a concern. So things that you can do. Number one, as soon as you give permission to your kids to set up an account, you need to be following them. So I always say you need to become your child's own personal stalker. Literally follow them so that you can see that what they are posting is appropriate. So Dad is camp counseling right now with no data for 2 weeks. I love that. My daughter, same thing. She's away at overnight camp for a month. She has no devices. The camp has a very strict policy, absolutely no devices, and it's pretty amazing. So you need to be in control of what they're doing. You need to be following them. Also, if your kids are young enough, you need to have their username and password. By having that, if they're posting something inappropriate, you can jump on board. So I'm going to give you an example that happened to us. Real life example, really scary from a parent perspective and from a kid perspective. So my son was in a pool with one of his girlfriends. They took a whole slew of pictures, and basically they decided to post these pictures on Instagram. Anyways, these two kids got into an argument, and my son showed one of the pictures to someone in the class. And one of these pictures, the girl was really unhappy with the way she looked, and she had a bunch of pictures of my daughter on her phone in a bathing suit, and she started showing them to the kids. Well, lo and behold, the school called me, asked me to come in, and explain to me that even though my son is 12 years old, they had to call the police because this is considered the distribution of child pornography. I was shocked. Shocked. Child pornography. My 12-year-old is sharing a picture that he's in with one of his friends in a bathing suit because they're at a pool. Child pornography. So the principal actually called the police. So you can imagine how horrified I was. Kim, you knew that. I had absolutely no idea. It sounds like Kristen, Lauren, you guys didn't know that either. I was shocked. I was horrified. I was really, really incredibly upset. And I went in to speak to the principal. He said the police said that they're going to let the school handle it this time. So actually, I took away my son's Instagram account and his Snapchat account for 3 months. It was a pretty painful 3 months for him because kids are communicating these days through their snaps and through Instagram messaging. That's how they're making plans. And now, when he wants to post pictures, he actually has to ask my permission. And it's so sad that these teens care so much what they look like in all these pictures. Of course they care so much because they are looking at all of these other people on Instagram through filters. I'd be leaving the school. You know what, Kristen? In fact, I didn't want to get mad at the principal because he did what he thought he had to do. Do I think it's taking it a step too far? I personally do, but maybe if I'm the mom of that child, I would have my own concerns. I'm glad that the police said, okay, you handle this on your own. But so that's why it's really important to make sure you're following your kids all the time. So let's go back to some lingo. Now that we have letters that are no longer backwards, thanks to our awesome team at PTPA, Jacelyn. Okay, so we have S for S. That means shout for shout. F for F, follow for follow, and L for L. Can you guess it? Like for like. So basically, as soon as your kids post a picture, they are immediately posting and texting their kids. Sorry, not posting. They're immediately texting all their friends. Any one of these. You like my Vanna White? Any one of these things. So I always say to my son, okay, well, if you have to go and tell everyone to like your photos or follow your photos or do a shout out for you, then what is the point? How authentic is it? They do not care. They just want to look cool. Do some schools have assemblies to cover some of these issues? I'm willing to bet that just about, thank you, go Vanna, just about every school out there has assemblies on it. But I think peer pressure has overrun what kids are going to learn during these assemblies. I think kids are just, parents no longer have an influence, police no longer scare the kids. They scare the parents, but not the kids as much. And they just want to be cool and they want to be accepted. And if everyone's doing it, then they want to be doing it and looking just as cool. There isn't a point. This is so sad. I totally agree with you. Unless you're talking about this Facebook Live, in which case, well, you know, I don't agree with you. Popularity. That's completely it. It used to be there were those cliques at school when I was young, which was really long ago. And there were those cool kids. And if you did something embarrassing or somebody looked really good on a day, everybody forgot about it the next day. But now, everything you post on social media is a statement. It's a judgment. Okay, thanks, Rachel, because I was getting nervous there. It's a judgment on you. So my son will get a haircut and he wants to post it. And, you know, if he didn't get enough likes, ooh, does that mean my haircut's not so great? Me telling him it's awesome or his sister telling him it's awesome is really important, but not to him. What's important to him is that all these random strangers think so. My 10-year-old son wants to have a YouTube page and wants likes, and views. You know why he wants a YouTube page? Because he's probably watching people like the former popular Logan Paul, who shows off all of the amazing things he can buy because he is a YouTuber. And kids think that is incredibly easy to do. So I'm going to throw out at you a couple more terms that your kids are going to use. I don't remember what this one means. Salty. So this is something people will comment. So not only do they want likes, they want a ton of comments. And they want to be spammed on their Instagram. What does that mean? That means they want the same person putting a ton of comments so that when you see likes and comments, you see a ton of comments. It doesn't even matter that they are by the same person. So salty is like that person is just bitter about something. What else do we have? We have lit. So I can no longer say the word cool, because as soon as I say the word cool, my son literally looks at me and goes, oh, I can't believe you said that. Just by saying cool, you are so not cool. You have to use the word lit. I know, right, Kristen? It's a whole other vocabulary. Merriam-Webster needs to be fully updated. All right, what else do we have here? Fire, or the fire emoji, means hot. So if somebody wants to talk about someone's appearance, they'll go with the hot. It's less about the whole temperature thing, and it's more about how hot they look or how good their post is. Do we have any more? Oh, okay. This one's gonna be backwards, but what it says is IGBanger. I asked my son what this meant, and when he finished laughing for 5 minutes, he thought it was hilarious that I didn't know. But what it means is a picture you've posted on Instagram, IG, that is just so cool. It's awesome. It's a successful post. Aw, Beth, you are my new best friend. I am so lit. Thank you, Beth. You're awesome. Can you just tell my kids that? Yeah, Cindy, you know what? Lit used to be a term, then it got uncool, and now it's a term again that apparently parents are not allowed to use, because if I try using it, the kids go, oh my God, did she really just do that? Apparently I'm the most embarrassing person on the planet. Okay, so this is running a little bit long, but here is the gist of what I'm trying to get across to you guys. Our kids are gonna learn from us. And if we are sitting there, Phil, can I borrow your phone for a second? Thank you. If we are sitting there like this all the time and going, no, I totally hear what you're saying. Yep, no, I understand. Yep. And we're walking around constantly with these devices at dinner time and wherever else, and we are absorbed with them, that's what our kids are going to pick up. I really appreciate, Kim, your feedback that you don't think this is too long. I hope you guys are picking something up out of this. We're going to be setting examples for our kids. For those of you who have young kids, you still have a chance, so take advantage of it. Yes, be an example. Put the screen down. Nobody in our home is allowed a screen during dinner time. We actually installed a Disney Circle device, which limits Wi-Fi usage in our home. So my kids know how many hours of Netflix they get on a daily basis. They know how much Snapchat time. I can limit all of that. I can even set bedtime. So the Wi-Fi actually turns off at a certain time. My daughter has a slightly later time. My son has an earlier time. Of course, we argue over that all the time. But at least it allows us to set limits. I don't want them sitting on their devices until they fall asleep. I don't want them sitting on their devices until midnight. And being able to set that time limit is great. And of course, punishment, best possible way is taking away Wi-Fi. My son is not going to watch this because currently he has no devices. His PS4, our family iPad, the kid's laptop, his phone, everything is gone. And magically, he's been hanging out with friends, playing basketball in the streets, riding his bike, doing amazing, amazing things. Did your children have to buy their own phones? No, I actually wasn't ready to buy them their phones. But this year they were taking public transportation to get home, so we bought them their phones because I wanted to be able to be their own personal stalker. And I actually installed something called Life 360 on those phones, so I can see where they are at any point in time. So if they ever try and turn off Life 360, they know I'm taking that device away from them. We also don't keep our phones on during the night. Yep, we use them for alarms. I do exactly the same thing. The kids actually have to leave their phones in the kitchen. Sometimes they have snuck down to the kitchen and taken it, but because I wake up at 5 a.m., way before them, I know, and then they lose their device for that day. So that's a chance they're taking. Oh, Tiffany, you use Life 360. That's awesome. It's such a great device. It's a great way to know exactly where your kids are at any particular time. I'm seeing kids 6 and 7. Oh, how young is too young? I think it all depends on your child. My kids' starting age was 12, and that was again because they were going off to programs, they were taking buses, and I was really doing it more for myself. Yvonne, our 5 teens got their first phones when they got a job. Oh, I love that. So now your kids actually have to pay for the phones, or you might be paying for the phones, but at least they're learning some responsibility. Leanne, totally agree with you. I get so excited now when my kids go outside and actually socialize in person. Now that my son has no device, he's actually used the landline. He didn't know it had a name. He didn't even know it existed. Yes, Beth, it is Life 360. Look it up. It's fantastic. So I am going to wrap this up. I'm so thrilled that you guys obviously really enjoyed this topic, and I'm so thrilled that you guys engaged with us, and I am open to suggestions. Anything that works for you guys, didn't work for you guys, please, please, please feel free to share in the comments below. Would love to hear what other topics are of interest to you, because you know what, this is a work in progress. Every week we're trying something new, but we want to make it exactly what you want it to be. Kim, you are so very welcome. Tony, you too. So, of course, by leaving your comments, we are going to be giving away these awesome PTPA journals. You get to pick the color you want. We're also going to be giving away, oh my gosh, I just forgot what they're called.
Collapsible foam grips.
Collapsible foam grips that say PTPA, because we want to welcome you as part of our community. You are so welcome, guys. Victoria, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Lauren, Pop Socket, thank you. Kim, I was totally having a brain freeze for a second there. So we look forward to connecting with you guys again next Tuesday. Make sure to leave in the comments below exactly what you'd love us talking about, what worked for you, what you hated, and we will randomly be selecting some winners. Take care, guys. Have a fabulous week.